Free. With the power of Tandem HR, you are in the fast lane on Main Street with Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs. Now, the champion of networking, the advocate of jobs, the guru of business, your host, Shalom Klein.
We are all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship and business. We talk a lot about business here. You are on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. Remember, you could always download podcasts from Get Down to Business on my website at shalomklein.com. And while you're there, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Shalom Klein. Join the thousands that have. This week, we are doing a live show, and you could call us at 312-642-5600, 312-642-5600. And join the many that have done that and called in with your questions. This week, we have a jam-packed lineup of fantastic guests. First up on the program, we've got Buzz Ruttenberg, got Gail Norden, and we have returning guest Linda Nichols joining us on Get Down to Business. So a jam-packed show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. And as a bonus for those of you that listen without interruption to this entire show, I've got some tips, advice, and information for you. You won't want to miss a minute of it. Once again, it's Get Down to Business, and we are the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. So as promised, I have Buzz Ruttenberg right here with me in studio. Buzz is working on some interesting business-related projects, but interesting community-related project as well. So, Buzz, welcome to Get Down to Business.
Shalom. Glad to be here.
It's great to have you, and I always love it when people use that line. It makes me smile every single time. So, Buzz, let's start with what you're doing professionally. And Belgravia Group, tell us a little bit about your work.
Well, Belgravia Group is about to enter its 70th year as a real estate developer in downtown Chicago.
Fantastic. And you're working on projects in downtown Chicago, West Loop, and really all over, I understand.
Principally in the north sector and northwest sector of the downtown Chicago area, have for almost 70 years.
That's great. So when you talk about projects, give us an example of something that you have worked on recently and what your team looks like.
We have a small 25-person office, and currently we're finishing a 45-unit condominium building just off Orleans near Sedgwick and Locust, and are starting construction on a 70-unit condominium project on Washington Street between Carpenter and Aberdeen, directly across the former offices of Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, very, very nice. Well, thank you for taking a break from the project and coming to join us on the radio. I'm sure it's a welcome relief. You were wiping the sweat off your brows as you walked in, so it's great to have you over here. So as our listeners know, I love to dissect businesses and talk about what makes a business different from each other. So, Buzz, let's be honest over here. There's other groups that do similar work. Why is Belgravia Group better? Why are you different?
We're different because we are kind of focused on where most people are not. So at the moment, there's currently a craze in downtown Chicago about high-rise development, usually 200 or 300 units in a very tall building. And we have been focused on condominium development between 40 and 60 units generally in the West Loop because of the proximity to jobs, schools, and the community of entertainment after work and fellow middle-aged to younger homeowners in your community.
Fantastic. So we're chatting with Buzz Ruttenberg of the Belgravia Group, and you do some fantastic work. I've seen some of your projects and have gotten to know some members of your team, and you guys do an excellent job. But aside for the work that you do and the very, very satisfied clients, customers that you have, and very satisfied city that we have looking so good because of your team, it sounds like you've learned a few lessons after being in business for this long. I'd love to hear, I guess, the message that you learned after being in business for this long. What do you wish you knew a few years ago that you've discovered now? You manage people, you're managing projects. What's the secret recipe?
The secret recipe, I think, is really caring as a leader and being involved in the lives of people and trying to find the balance between good work and good time off. Because We don't want people to work too much, and we want them to be motivated to care as though they have a piece of ownership in the business, that they have to care about the product. And what really sets us apart is our ability to focus on smaller niche properties. The one we're about to start construction is 403 West Wabash. It's a 45-unit condominium adjacent to the river and in the shadow of the former IBM building and the Trump Hotel.
The Trump Hotel. We'll save that for another topic.
Indeed.
For another time. So get down to business. We're powered by Tandem HR. We always call them our solution center, and a plug for the work that they do and the resources that they have. Check them out, tandemhr.com. And I know we share a mutual friend in Bruce Leon of Tandem HR. And one of the things that I see in many successful companies, many successful professionals, is the interest and the willingness to give back to community. And that was on display today by many members of the team at Tandem HR at the race / walk to end to end homelessness that Tandem HR participated in, together with a safe haven, and they do some fantastic work. But Buzz, I know you're involved in a lot of great causes, and Bruce was telling me about one of those projects that you've been involved in, I believe, teaching somewhere. If you don't mind, tell us a little bit about your philanthropic and community giving.
Well, part of the give back that I feel is essential was to the state of Israel through the Jewish Federation in Chicago, where I took a 6-week sabbatical from my job, left the others in charge, and I taught English to the grades 3 through 5 in the region of Israel called Kiryat Gat, which is a younger community. It doesn't have the high-level performance that you associate with Jerusalem or Tel Aviv, but is an essential part of the education of all Israelis.
That's incredible. So teaching young children English, how long were you out there?
I was there for 6 weeks.
But
weeks. Also in my organization, we have other people who are making volunteer commitments as well, because, as I always say, you can't lead from behind. So follow me, and the current president of our company is very involved in the cancer research program, and the other people are very much involved in community activities, education in the public schools, mentoring students, and the like.
So let me ask out of ignorance, perhaps. You're trying to run a company. You've got a lot of projects in the works that you're juggling. It sounds like you're busy. How do you as a professional help educate our listeners over here? How do you as a professional justify that time that you're spending away and the time that the president of your company and some other members of your team are spending involved in cancer research organizations? I don't think anybody would question the good work that they're doing, but you've got to make a living. How does that make you a better professional, and how do you justify that time away?
Well, I feel that the time away is an essential learning experience for the professional, and I believe that all of our society requires you to make some money and make some friends, to care and to give back. And if you sleep if your sleep is 1 hour less and you give back an hour more from time to time, it's easily manageable.
I agree. Sleep is overrated. And I agree with that message. Giving back is so important, and it's on display by all of you here in studio, and you're going to meet some of our other guests as we go through the program. But that's a theme that I hear from business owners around the country, that the most successful people are focusing on their success. Of course, you have to build up your company to a certain point so you have the bandwidth to give back, whether it's through writing a check. But it sounds like, Buzz, your work is not just through writing a check, but it's actually by rolling up your sleeves and doing the important work and just getting involved, which is fantastic. Any other notable causes or charities that you're involved with?
Well, I've previously been involved as the chairman of the board of the Francis Parker School, as well as activities at the Northwestern Law School, now called the Pritzker School of Law. But all of it helps me to understand other people. And the unique part of our business is that while we build housing or we build commercial properties, understanding people and what drives their interest, why they want to live in Chicago, why they want to live where they do, is all part of the research that feeds into your information, when you're busy giving back to society as a whole.
Well, thank you for all that you are doing. Keep up the fantastic business that you've maintained, calling Chicago home for 70 years, which is amazing. And of course, the community work as well. Buzz Ruttenberg, we are running out of time. Can you direct people to your website or how people can get a hold of you?
Yes, by all means. Our website is belgraviagroup.com, and you'll see our current and future listings right there. And we'd be glad to talk with you through our website. Thank you very much.
BelgraviaGroup.com, absolutely. Buzz Ruttenberg, thanks for joining us on the air. Once again, many projects throughout the city, as well as some fantastic community involvement and community giving. After the break, we are going to continue the conversation on the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. We've got Gail Norton here in studio and a jam-packed lineup of guests, content, and information. You won't want to miss a minute of it, so don't touch that dial, Chicago. You're listening to Get Down to Business.